Your source for all things Texas Tech. This is the Ask Level podcast from Double T 97.3.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome into another episode of the Ask Level podcast alongside Chris Level. I'm Chois Woodman. This podcast, as usual, brought to you by our friends at Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Level, how are we this week?
We're good. I feel like you know, what's fascinating about sports in general, okay, is that fans and people like us, you enjoy like player movement, free agency, draft. Some people enjoy that as much, and I guess in some cases, maybe even more than like the tangible result of an actual season. It's like, oh, we're getting this guy and we're trading this person or whatever. And I feel like we are knee deep in that aspect
Yeah,
for college athletics right now. We went through that in December with football, and
we
that
did.
still is ongoing, as we'll get into. And then basketball,
It
you're
is.
just like, I can't, what is happening? So. Um, but it's definitely got a lot of interest out there as far as like who's on my team. I don't know. So yeah, there's all of that. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I guess that'll just really take up the bulk of what we talk about today is just kind of player movement, incoming, outgoing, and then
Yeah,
palms up. Like I'm not real sure where we sit.
yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, this
So
is
I'm
the
doing
time.
fine. I'm just trying to keep my head on a swivel, is
Uh,
what I'm doing.
Absolutely. This is the time of year where these podcasts, we do these weekly. They can become dated pretty quick because there's news that can happen in an instant, anytime. So we never know what's coming or what's going to happen. And that can be football related, as we'll get into, or basketball or whatever. Let's start with the football because that's something we can knock out fairly quickly. But Texas Tech gets another addition to their portal class. Most of that coming in December, obviously, but David Bailey, who was looked at pretty well at consensus from everywhere I could see as the best player in the portal currently, the current version of the portal. Out of Stanford, he's an edge rusher, which is not something you piled up a whole lot of in December. You got the Romeo from Georgia Tech.
Romello Height from Georgia
Yes,
Tech. Yes.
Romello Height from Georgia Tech. But you didn't have a whole lot of just true edge rushers outside of that. Got a lot of interior help on the defensive line. But this level is obviously a pretty big get for the Red Raiders on top of what's already a really good portal class.
Yeah, I'd like to think, and I don't think I'm too far off here, but I think if David Bailey would have been in the portal in December, that he would have been one of the top guys really whenever this cycle you're talking about. I mean,
Sure.
he's the if you believe the analytical data or the grades out there on some of what he has done, he's the top pressure player in the ACC, the way he
Mhm.
graded out. I think he would have been like the ninth player in the country last year.
Yeah.
And I've tried to draw this analogy with him. He's got some Tariq Owens to him. And what I mean by that is there's things that these kinds of players do that don't show up in the box score that positively affect everything around them. Because I'm gonna get to the quarterback, I'm gonna make him either not throw it or I'm gonna make him throw it way before he's ready. I'm
Yeah.
going to make him throw it to my teammate, and throw a pick, and that doesn't necessarily show up in like the sack total, or whatever it may be. So I just think with his addition, instantly your defense and everything around it and everything associated with it becomes better. I mean, Sheil Wood automatically becomes a better defensive coordinator.
Mhm.
I think your secondary automatically becomes better because instantly they don't have to cover as long now. And I don't want to make it sound like you've added Charles Haley here or like make it sound like you've added, JJ Watt or something. But I mean, I think the college version, I mean, and what's crazy, Choice is he's here.
Yeah.
He's here and he is going to start practicing. That is imminent. He is 6'3", 247, I think is what he's weighed in at. And he looks the part and he is plays a premium position. There are there are these five positions in football that the NFL has deemed like I
Yeah.
forgot the term there for it, but it's a QB, it is offensive tackle, it's defensive end, it's receiver, and it's corner. Those get paid more than everybody else. And there's some exceptions to that, but those five,
Sure.
generally speaking, get paid more than everybody else. And the reason is because you are asked to win repeatedly one-on-one matchups.
Mhm.
And if you are really good at winning one-on-one matchups, you get paid well. And that's and Mr. Bailey is going to be compensated well here. But to pair him with Romello Height and then to be able to, you hope, keep all of your younger
Mhm.
pieces and then allow them to develop. It's a really fun situation here. So we can continue to get into this because there's a lot to say, but how we got here is the crazy thing because it's a weird dynamic at Stanford, and that's the only reason why he was in the portal because the portal doesn't open until April the 16th.
Yeah.
And because Andrew Luck was hired as the GM and then empowered by the administration there to do what he needed to do, he makes a move with the head coach. Insert Frank Reich, NFL head coach and NFL quarterback and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And with that, Bailey has the right to go, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. And you're able to pounce, and you did.
Yeah, so that was one of the questions we had was how is Texas Tech able to get Bailey at this time when the portal's not open technically? But it's all because of what you just explained right there, and that makes a lot of sense. One other way you say he makes everybody better around him, and you're absolutely right because another way is he can make Romello Height or any other man on that defensive lineman better if he draws double teams.
Well, and what's now, I think you look at it, and I would say this that you've added five linemen in this portal cycle on the defensive side, all of which come with extremely high accolades.
Yeah.
Everything from top pressure players to second team All Big 12 guys to one of the best group of five guys, on and on it goes.
Hmm.
And Holmes, Skylar Gill Howard, Hunter, Height, and now Bailey. That and yet you still have Duda Banks, you've
Hmm.
still got Isaac Smith, you've still got Adedire and
Yep. Yep.
Spencer and O'Feely and Charles Anderson and Cofield and I mean just on and on. I mean it's like you've just got depth on depth on depth and it's quality because now what in a normal circumstance prior to portal world you would have had a bunch of these guys as starters and now they're going to be second or third team types.
Yeah. And I think
Uh,
level just to add to that, where we see where it just seems like when we go up, and I say we Texas Tech goes up against an SEC team. Anytime you get to see what's across the field, and Arkansas is an example of that, but we've seen it against Ole Miss. We've seen it uh, plenty of times in the last decade or so. Where it just stands out the most seems to be in the trenches and specifically the defensive line. That's where you see it so much, where it's like those guys just look different and they've got so many of those guys. And it feels like that's the approach Texas Tech is trying to get more SEC like.
Yeah, there's just not that many quality big people in the world,
Hmm.
and the ones that are out there, everybody wants. And so you're right. I mean, there's a premium to pay, but I mean, credit to Texas Tech for having a process in place and being well resourced.
Yeah.
So you have to thank, the Matador Club for doing what it's doing, and then all the analytics and Blanchard and his staff. And when you meet that, they're able to act very quickly, because
Yeah.
if you just go, huh, this guy got in the portal, that would be fun. Well, let me make a call.
Right.
And then if you're slow,
Yeah.
then you're going to be left out. And I think they were able to act quickly because the young man was on campus on a visit pretty darn quick. Um, so, but I think that we watched the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
and as good as Pat is, and as good as the Chiefs are and have been,
Yeah.
the defensive line dominated that game. And, they sacked him 6 times. They hit him 11. There were some turnovers mixed in, and it was dominating.
Yeah.
And so I think the thought is like you talk about it in Big 12 terms, you better have two really good offensive tackles, or you're going to have to scheme it up and say, I've got to utilize my tight ends, maybe a running back to chip. I've really got to schematically
Hmm.
like change what I'm doing here, which limits your ability to just run your offense and max protect a lot because of what you have coming after you. And you're right. I mean, I just think everybody is enhanced. The term I've used with David Bailey is he's a force multiplier,
Yeah.
because it's just everything around him instantly becomes better because of his skill set, and that's a lot of fun to think about. And this has been a position that you've struggled to find. Again, everybody does, but you've struggled to put pressure on the opposing quarterback consistently over the last 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that the times that you were able, when you had a Tyree Wilson, when you had a McKinnon Dixon or a Brandon Sharp or a Pete Robertson or some of the guys that you've had in recent years, they stick out like a sore thumb. I
Yeah.
think now you have two that, and I won't look at sack numbers per se, but it's all about pressure, and then how many turnovers are forced, how many three and outs. I mean, so there's just a lot to look into. But yeah, Sheil Wood's having a good time. He's just got to be. I mean, this is a whole different party, because you've basically got an entirely new defensive line and an entirely new secondary, which were your Achilles heels, and you've thrown a lot of resources to it, and it's just a lot of depth.
Yeah. It
So
is. It's fun to look at from afar. Obviously, there's got to be a connection between on paper and product on the field, and we'll get to see some of that. Spring games coming up next week, so fans will get to see. Or am I off a week? Yeah, I guess it's next Saturday, week from this Saturday. But we'll get to see a lot of that and get
and
to.
keep in mind the portal window opens on the 16th of April,
That's right. Yes.
before your spring game takes place. And so that's the next phase of this. And I would say you'll lose some folks, I think. I don't
Sure.
know, and
Sure.
and I think you would be in a position to add as well.
There you go.
So
And this is where roster cuts will have to get down to a hundred.
no, it
No.
doesn't.
Okay, so
No,
that's not
it
happening.
doesn't. I think that you could get out in front of some of that. I think that you will. In other words, you don't have to. I think that is not. So there's a couple of things there.
Okay.
One is that if you just be like, hey man, I just don't think you have a chance to be on this thing, even a best case scenario, and I want to do right by you.
Right.
If you want to get in the portal and see what's out there, that would be our advice. So there will be some of those things.
Sure.
Um, but you don't have to be down to 105, I think, until the week of the first game.
Okay.
Um, and what I mean by that is you may have to turn something in August or early August. However, if say you have your 105 in August and somebody hurts a knee or somebody goes down and they're going to be out long term, I think you were able to replace them
Okay.
in August. But I think once you go to the first game and you've got your list, this is what we're doing, then I think that's pretty much set. And that from that point on, that you can't you're past the trade deadline, if you will. And
There you go.
so there's some windows and some timing and all that stuff, but you'll see some movement here in the next couple of weeks, I would guess. Moving about the cabin, as they say. So I'm going to turn the seatbelt sign off. Feel free to move about the cabin. I think that process is imminent.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Very exciting news for football, obviously, there, if you're a Red Raider football fan. Basketball, it is Wild West, obviously, as everything's open up, portal. National championship game happens this week. Happened or happened, depending when you're listening to this or watching it. And we have news that comes out over the weekend level that Darrion Williams is entering the portal while also going through the draft process. And this still leaves basically all options open for Darrion Williams. So we've got lots of questions regarding him. What are the chances that Darrion Williams ends up back at Texas Tech?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not surprised at any of this. I would have told you that. I mean, and I think I said as much on this show with you that because I do think there's a better than good chance that JT Toppin's going to be back here. To which I will first be the first to tell you a month ago I think I was like no shot, and
Mhm.
then I think I tried to say to you, like
You
I don't
did.
know a week or so ago, like
Yep.
I don't know. And I think we're much closer to the I don't know. I think I think that may be what happens here is that he could return
Yeah.
and but with there I think what I said to you initially was I just think there's a point with some of these guys that they're ready for the next thing,
Hmm.
whatever it is. And I part of me wonders if that's the thing with Darrion. I'm not saying he won't come back to college. I'm not saying that he won't come back here, but I just sense that maybe he's just ready for the next thing, and let's see. Um, some will suggest he's a draft pick. Some will go, I don't know, but I just so we'll just kind of see. I would say this. I hope that people don't, and this is what fans do, but don't rule anything out,
Hmm.
and be careful about what you read out there about if you don't turn on the kid, I guess is what I'm saying. He gave you 2 great years. I think he's doing what his advisors are suggesting, and that's kind of the name of the game out there. I can't say that you and I would do something different. I mean, if the Ask Woodman or the Ask Level podcast in whatever city was like, "Hey, we'd like to talk to you about what this looks like for you," you at least have to listen, don't you?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and you have benefited from this way more than it's stung you as far as the portal or the
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
about the cabin process.
Right.
And so I just think people need to try to remember that if they can. But again, I can't tell anybody how to feel. I just hope that
Yeah. It's hard because as college sports fans, we have to find this new territory. A lot of us of
well, you don't
of
have to,
no,
but
but
yeah, but
it's a new territory of not separating emotions, but understanding the business side more. Because used to it was about, hey, he went to this school because he likes Texas Tech, or he went to this school because of said coach or whatever. And it seems like every bit of it is, or at least 95% of cases out there are about the business side and the dollar
yeah,
figure nowadays. So it's kind of hard for fans to separate that because we've been desynthesized to that forever in pro sports, right? With the understanding that our one of our favorite players may go take a contract at another team or may this
Or
or that.
get traded away when you don't want them to.
Right. So we've kind of understood that. You're still not over that one, are you? I don't think I've met a Mavericks fan that is over that one.
Well, I mean, yeah, I just,
Ugh.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man.
yeah, it's okay. It's
Feel
just
for
part
you.
of it.
Feel
Yeah.
for you,
And
everybody.
and what's funny is I've just kind of was kind of like had one foot out the door on the NBA in general. I just
That,
don't watch it a ton,
yep, a lot of people that way. And
and now I'm even more so. It's like, yeah, this is just less reason for so I'm in
right.
my emotions will remain intact. But hey, man, the young man, whatever happens here, I would hope for his sake, and for my, I'll say this too. I hope that he doesn't end up at another Big
Yeah.
12 school if he comes back to college. But if he does, this is just part of it. But you can't take away the shots that he made,
No.
the wins that he gave you, and all that. And again, I'm not ready to just wrap up that chapter yet. I think that remains to be seen. There will be a point to where whether it's how much money are we allocating here, we've got decisions, we're trying to put this thing together. There may come a point where like, hey, we are going to move on. And
Mhm.
like we've got to, because we don't want to be left without
Yeah. I mean,
a competent replacement, and he so I'm clear, he's going to be extremely difficult to replace with all of he's a Swiss Army knife in the best sense of the term,
yep.
and that will be difficult to replace. However, you have to trust your head coach. You have to trust. I mean, because they plucked this kid from Nevada, and not a lot of people were like, okay, well, this is interesting. And then he leaves as a first team All Big 12 guy in 2 years, and you get to the tournament in back-to-back years and the Elite Eight,
Yep.
and not without him. And if you want to
Sure.
get into screw you, man, or you could have played in some of those games that you didn't play, or like that, what was the Minnesota fan that was talking a bunch of smack about Elijah Hawkins? He's never going to do anything. He's never going to win.
Right.
Yeah, I would just say don't. Yeah, be careful
Sure.
about those kinds of things.
Yeah,
So,
it's a fine line to walk for
but
sure.
yeah,
And it's hard to control the emotions, but it's a business, man. So this with Darrion Williams, someone did ask if you would put a percentage on his return. You have that question. Impossible to know at this point.
yeah. I guess I'm just not ready to. I'm not ready to talk in absolutes with it. I think the percentage thing is tricky. I do tend to think that he just may be done with this with college. But again, I'm not ready to rule it out. And then, I mean, here's the thing, Woodman, like what's just crazy is that if there is an NBA process that he's going to go through,
Mhm.
because you've got the house settlement thing that factors into this deal too. Like there's some thought that, okay, well, the longer he takes, if he does come back to college, that the lot less money that he'll get. We don't know exactly what those rules will look like
Right.
come May and June because the process. I mean, when did you add JT Toppin?
Late May, right? Or
Right?
mid, yeah. Yeah.
And you're that's over a month away from right now,
Yeah.
if not 6 weeks from now.
Sure. Sure.
So, and how much time is that? That's a long ways
That is
off.
a
And
long ways
so
off, yeah.
I don't know enough to know to put a percentage on it. While I may say he's just kind of done with this, or my opinion, or could be,
Yeah.
if you go through the process and it's like, okay, they don't like this, they don't like that, I haven't gotten the feedback, okay, then the percentages dramatically change. Okay, now
Right.
and I wouldn't rule out Texas Tech, but I also would say that depends on where you're at the time, because if you've already kind of replaced him with your, because there's dollar amounts here that we're talking about. Like there's
Yeah.
rev share that I've got to allocate, and there's collective money that I've got to allocate, and so you may allocate those dollars elsewhere or that role elsewhere.
Yeah.
And so
And that's what's hard. You've said it a couple of times, but the timeline with all of this is if you drag your feet, if you wait around and say, okay, we're counting on Darrion Williams to be back or whatever, and we're locking in one of our best spots, one of our biggest money spots and salary cap or whatever to this guy, and then he doesn't end up back, and a lot of these other good options are gone, then it's just such a tough thing with the timing of it all because if you wait around, you might get burned. But at the same time, if you wait around, maybe there is a JT Toppin that's available in May for you. So it's hard to ever know these sorts of things. I will say, uh, I do trust in Grant McCaslin because you look what he's done and been able to put together. First year was
And
in a
he's
very
earned, yeah, he's earned that trust.
yeah. First year
Yeah.
was in a very short period of time where
Mhm.
he had to do that. The second time, you kind of have the full off-season allotment, and
Because like Devin Cambridge and Warren Washington, they were also very late additions.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, they were very late additions, and I think there's some. I get the vulnerability out there that everybody feels like, okay, I've got this team, and but I don't even know who's on it, and I just want to root for somebody, or I just want to know who's playing for it, and it just takes a bit
sure,
for it to play out.
sure.
But patience is difficult, and you see other activity or other players moving around and you're like, well, I'd like to get involved. I want some movement.
Hmm.
You'll get it. It just may not happen as quickly as anybody wants it to, but I think you trust. I absolutely trust Grant. And I think you're very well resourced. So you will put a very competent, relevant product on the court next year,
Yep,
without a doubt.
yep.
Because I get the sense you may have a couple of two pretty substantial pieces that you can build around, and they are no slouches.
Yeah, I think those are two pieces that any Big 12 team would love to have. Kelly asks,
Literally every one of them would.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
Kelly asks, who's your favorite player currently on Tech's radar in the portal?
Well, um, the Dent kid was one of my favorites that was in the portal. He has since committed to UCLA.
Yep,
Um, KJ Lewis was another one that I kind of was paying attention to just because I'd seen him so much and he's from right up the road and Tech was so involved in his recruitment. He has since committed to Georgetown.
yeah. Feels like these
Uh,
commitments are happening so fast.
yeah, Vasar again one that because I just always look at guys. Oh, he could play for me. Like
Yeah,
I mean, I'd like to be in that bit. He's going to North Carolina.
yeah,
Um, the I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that like kind of like I'll tell you one. Depending on when people are watching this, if you wanted to tell me that Texas Tech could get in the Rob Wright business. He is the point guard, the true freshman point guard for Baylor. That
yeah,
is, I think, kind of surprised folks down there and got into the portal.
yeah,
Yeah, I would run to the front of the line there. You put him and Christian Anderson next to each other.
yeah,
Yeah, and like you've already got a potential post player and like a guy like JT. I mean, yeah, this is you're cooking with gas at some point. So I mean, he's one, but.
sure.
Um, I mean, Loyola Chicago, Delaware, UNC, Greensboro, I think. I can't even remember all the mid-major guys that you're in on. There was a Pitt guy that ended up going to. But by the way, you weren't in Wichita, were you?
No, I did not make this
Okay,
trip.
okay. So this is just fascinating how some of this goes, but West Virginia is starting all over. They have zero players returning, and so they're having to build a roster. A
Right.
roster. The guy that you played in the very first round from UNC Wilmington, he was a 7-footer for them,
Hmm.
and he's bound. I mean, Cax and I are calling this thing, and this guy's bouncing around. He's smack talking. He's
Oh, I
over there
remember.
waving at the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
He is sweating profusely, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, dude, he's gonna just run out of gas. He's just like, I mean, it was just like, dude, chill out. I mean, like, I watched each individual referee within like a 20-minute span walk up to him and be like, "Hey, dude, calm down. Like turn it down just a titch for us. Stop talking to everyone,
Yeah.
including the other team and like just the crowd and like whatever." He's just and anyway, he has since committed to West Virginia. That's why I was bringing that up. It's just kind of funny how all these things work and everything. But I don't know if I have a favorite right now. And the problem is I don't know what they know and how they're trying to put these pieces of the puzzle together. If I knew that you were looking for a guard or a wing for sure, for certain, I would probably have a different opinion. You follow me?
Yeah.
And right now, I think you need a little bit of everything. And so I
Hmm.
don't know if I'm prepared to say, oh, this guy. I mean, because honestly, Christian Anderson and JT Toppin are my favorites. Even though
Those are
they
my
didn't get
favorites too.
they didn't get into the portal. Yeah. So
Okay. Makes
yeah.
makes sense.
Sorry. I mean, there's so much moving and shaking that yeah. We'll kind of keep up with that and maybe have a much better feel for that a week from now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I mean, we will have plenty of these podcasts over the next 6 weeks, and this will be going on for probably the
Yeah.
next 6 weeks or so, where it just continues. And that's the nature of the beast when it comes to the college basketball landscape. But um, we'll go ahead and put a bow on that one today, Level, as we'll talk some more basketball transfer portal news in coming weeks. We'll talk more football as we near the spring game and have some more scrimmages that it's Coach McGuire will talk about, obviously, and that sort of thing. So I'll go.
And well, and real quick, just with because we didn't even get into this yet, but it's just funny when we do these a week at a time, how much
Yeah,
happens
a
or can
lot,
happen.
a lot.
Um, True or false, Chris? Texas A&M went after Grant McCasland.
Oh
True.
yeah, yeah. I haven't even talked about that.
I do think that Grant comes off of a gut punch of a loss to Florida. We get back from San Francisco, and he's dealt with players, whether it's his own or potential new ones. He's dealt with people coming after his staff.
Hmm.
I think he has dealt with his own um, interest in a move to College Station. And so the poor guy is like, just there was no come home and decompress for a little bit. No, it
Not at
was
all.
come home and like you're just knee deep already. And that yeah, I hope they fix the timing of a lot of this stuff for those guys' sake. But
Needs to be.
this is what you sign up for.
Oh, there.
But
Go.
this is part of being good, Woodman.
It is though.
When you're really good, there's two lists, as Mike Leach used to say. It's and right now the tech coaching staff, the head coach and assistants and everything, they're on the right list. And I don't think you'll be able to keep your staff intact. I think there are going to have to be some moves made there because I think people want your coaches and but this is where you trust your head coach.
Leah did ask if Luke Barnwell was
And
staying with the team.
I think that is true. I think he's going to go work for Ben McCollum, and that makes sense. That's where closer to where Luke is from, and he knows McCollum. He played for the guy.
Yeah,
He played for him.
yeah,
So years ago.
yeah.
So I think that I hate that, but I get it too, and I think Grant even would go, "Hey man, I can't, he's going to treat you good, and you're going to win a bunch of games, and you get to live closer to a bunch of family and all that stuff." And so, but yeah, he played for Ben McCollum, so and Linder and Grant obviously are very close, as well documented with Coach McCollum. So,
Yeah. So
and then obviously you got to replace Matt Breyer too. So.
So there's that. We
Yeah.
can potentially get into more of those conversations in coming weeks as well, because there will be replacements to talk about. But happy Masters Week, Level. Enjoy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it
Eat
is.
some pimento cheese and some egg salad, man. Just shout out to Augusta National. I've been fortunate enough to have been there 4 times
Oh
over the
my!
years.
Wow.
It is the best, and
Yeah.
TV does it no justice. I say this every year, but it's one of my favorite. Stop what you're doing on these weekends and watch
Hmm.
that sporting event. I mean, they give you all the golf with no commercial. It's just awesome. So
Yep.
hopefully our boy Ludi does his thing and yeah, all the stuff. But yeah, it's great TV, man. Green Jacket Week for sure.
Love it. Love it. Yep. Hopefully.
I don't know how to spell azalea, but I know that's their thing. I know there's a Z in there. There's
There's a
some
Z.
E. There's some E's and A's. I'm gonna guess there's an S, and then an L. I just don't know what order those letters come in. But yeah, I mean it's just it's crazy because like the grounds crew is like the Hall of Fame crew because
Yeah,
it almost looks like it's staged just for TV.
it does.
But these people are so good at what they do that I mean you want to see like training on trash or the grounds. Like you walk in and it's like there's no cell phones, and this goes way back when you can't have a cell phone on the grounds.
Yeah.
There is next to nothing as far as like bare dirt, even because they cover it with these fancy pine needles.
Yeah.
But there's no trash anywhere to speak of. There's no corporate sponsorship stuff
Oh yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like you're thrown way back into the
It's
50s,
amazing.
and it's awesome because it's kind of stands alone. Is like there's nothing else like it.
Oh, there's last question for you. I was watching Full Swing, pretty good little Netflix thing with golf. If you like golf,
Yes.
or even if you don't, my wife not a big golf
Yeah.
fan. She loves it, but it's got Oberg and his girlfriend Olivia Pete, who played tennis at Texas
Hmm.
Tech, and they're sitting there talking. She's like, I almost got in trouble twice for walking too fast. Did you ever get in trouble for walking too
There
fast?
is no running at the Masters, and they will tell you, hey, you're referred to as a patron.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's like if because what happens is like, oh, there's somebody coming up the deal. I'm gonna drop what I'm doing. I'm gonna run
Yeah.
and go try to get a spot so I can see whatever group is coming in and everything, and they will very politely slash sternly go, hey. It's not what we do here.
No,
And you
sir.
go because I mean they will threaten to pull your badge
Yeah.
you're like please don't. I mean whatever you want. I've given you my phone. I mean I
Yeah.
just want I'm here to eat the pimento cheese. And yeah, it's just nuts because you can go through those concession stands, man, and for like $7 you can eat like a king.
Yeah.
They're not trying to
Oh, absolutely. It's
whereas
amazing.
like you can eat like a king at some arena somewhere and it's like 22.50 and I'm like I didn't even get anything.
Yeah.
And it all is not very good,
Yeah.
like so it's just because they're not there trying to make money off concessions and everything. So
It's awesome.
it's wild.
It's
So
awesome. But
yeah, there you go. All right, well yeah, enjoy Masters Week. We'll be back to break it all down next time we return and figure out what happened in the old portal process. Are we still partying on the portal, or what are we doing? Yeah, what do we got going?
yeah, lots to still get into. Level, appreciate it as always. We'll
Yes,
do it again
sir.
soon.
All right.
He is Chris Level. I'm Choice Woodman. Thanks to Cantex Roofing and Construction. You've been tuned in to the Ask Level podcast brought to you by Double T 97.3.
You've been listening to the Ask Level podcast, powered by Double T 97.3.